Welcome to Zonie Living, Business, Adventure, and Leadership. About 20% of business owners in Arizona are women, and that's about the same for the national average. Today's program is about leading ladies. You'll hear from extraordinary, powerful, innovative, and inspirational women about what drives them and the impact that they're having. Business coach Colleen Biggs of the Phoenix area is boosting women to the next level and changing their lives, building on their visibility, capacity, and wealth. She's helped start 340 small businesses. April White is a creative dynamo. She's the founder of a national public relations firm. She's also a very talented musician, and most recently, she's opened a boutique in the city of Williams called Cowgirls and Fairies. It's being called whimsical and chic, and we will go inside. We'll also hear from actress Mariette Hartley. She received this year's Lifetime Achievement Award at the Sedona International Film Festival. She and her husband, actor Jerry Sroka, tell us what people want and need right now. First, with me live in the studio is Colleen Biggs. Colleen has been a business coach for 22 years. She's the founder and CEO of The Leap Community. She's an international speaker and author of several books. One of her books is Step into the Spotlight to Expand and Attract the Right Clients. Well, hello, Colleen. So nice to see you.
Hi, Bonnie. Thank you so much for having me in the studio.
It's great to have you. I want to make sure that I've got my microphone in the right place. And I wanted to start off right away with Step into the Spotlight. That sounds like it's all about the power of visibility.
It is. It is. And, you know, when we talk about being seen and being heard and being visible, I want everyone to really think about what that means. Are we being seen in our relationships? Are we being seen in our businesses? Are we being seen in corporate America when we are sitting at a conference table, right? So many women will take the seat, but then they tend to not really speak their opinion from that seat. So visibility and being that authority builds the expertise that we need to be successful in anything that we do in our lives. And I love to focus with women specifically on their businesses.
You know, I know that's not comfortable for everyone. And I know that women, we have a lot of barriers that we have to get past that are in our heads, a lot of them. So what are some of the common barriers that you find when you're working with clients?
Yeah, so the number one common barrier is fear. And fear, if we break that down, is false evidence appearing real, meaning we create stories for ourselves that are actually not real. And that's because we look at the future of everything that could possibly happen. So I love to give ladies the exercise to say, when you are thinking of doing something in your business or something maybe you've never taken a path that you've never taken before, write down every possible thing that could go wrong. And if death isn't on the list, go for it.
That's a great qualifier. Well, you had said to me that every single person you've coached is different. So there's no one size fits all. You said you need the ability to get into the map of their world to understand them first, who they are, what they need, what they're looking for, to know how to assist them. So roughly how many women have you worked with?
Oh, wow.
Hundreds.
I don't know. Yeah, hundreds.
Okay.
I couldn't even put the number on it now, and I don't think anyone's ever asked me that question, Bonnie. So,
well, I know you've started more than helped start more
Yeah.
than 300 businesses.
And I would say 98% of them were women.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've continued as an entrepreneur at working with women specifically, because that's where I love, diving into the power that a woman has is really the patriarch of any family. And I find that women will take, instead of walking beside their partner, they'll walk behind their partner. Instead of, taking care of themselves, they were raised to feel that if they did anything for themselves, they were selfish.
Sure.
So therefore, they don't want to put themselves first, but we can't pour from an empty cup. We've all heard that several times, yet we tend to want to do that over and over and over again. And it's impossible to do that. We need to pour into ourselves. And, the airline said it, Bonnie. They say, put your mask on before you put your child's mask on or somebody next to you that you're taking care of. Yet we do not practice that in life. And it's really crucial that we work on doing that prior to, really understanding what our peak performance level is. And that's really what LEAP stands for in my community. It stands for Leading with Enhanced Acceleration to Reach Your Peak performance in whatever it is that you're looking to do.
And I know you work with people on what we've called the imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
And there's some other barriers that we have. So, and you probably have to assess people first before you can jump in and start.
Yes. Like you said, getting into the map of their world, success looks very different to you, Bonnie, than it looks to me, or than it really looks to any woman that's out here watching this program. So we need to define what success looks like for us and then what our desire is. And I call that designing your life. Life is happening every day. We have two choices. We either design the life we want to live, and then life is happening for us, or we are going to live life by default, and life will happen to you. Therefore, you will remain the victim. And the different vibrations that we have because of the energy that we emit, right? We're all beings of energy. You're going to attract people, places, things, and events on all of those levels. So you just have to decide what level you want to be so you can attract the people, places, events, and things to you on that level.
Well, I thought it was interesting. I looked up and found a number of traits that successful female business owners have in common. And this is according to Niger Design, and that's also a women-owned business. And these are the 8 traits: ambitious, innovative, positive, passionate, confident, persistent, humble, and hardworking. Now, I imagine you have others that you would add to the list. I thought of a few myself. Excellence, I think, is one of them.
Yes.
But what would you say, if you could narrow this down, is there one key trait that you would say is absolutely essential for women to be successful?
Do you know one female leader that's not confident?
Boy, you know, I know women that appear confident, and I am hoping that whether it took them a while to get to confidence, I am guessing they had to work on appearing confident and sounding confident. So that comes from your voice, your body language, all sorts of areas. You have to really believe it. And you know, you told me
said it right
you told me
there.
a great story about Santa Claus. And
I
do you
did.
remember that story?
I did. Yeah, you know, we have to, you said it right there. And confidence is the number one factor for women in their success. You can be ambitious, you can be these lists of, you know, innovative, and you can be humble, and you can be hardworking. And some of that is going to be just simply doing. But the confidence of the belief in yourself, you need to believe so much in yourself, just as when we were children, that for a parent to talk us out of the belief in Santa Claus, that he really, you know, I always say, how as children did we believe so much in our being that Santa Claus was real, that we believed that this fat man was able to make it around the entire world in one evening while we were sleeping, and come, like our parents let him into our home. And he left us all these presents, or he came down a chimney, right?
Yes.
And that there were deer outside, but yet we still, as a child, believed so much in it that we left food for the reindeers, we left cookies for Santa Claus, because we wanted that belief. And so in our minds, we create the reality. Thoughts are things. I want everyone to hear that. Thoughts are things. When you believe it's real, it will come true. So we believed it so intently in our being that when we woke up the next morning, we believed that Santa Claus left all those presents. It wasn't until it got shattered. Please don't show this to any children. As we became adults, that they had to show us all of the proof, right? But still, in my mind today, I still believe in that magic. So that is the number one thing I would say, is the belief in ourselves. And when let's just talk about an Olympic athlete real quick, Bonnie. Boy. Every Olympic athlete believes they have the ability to win the gold medal, or they wouldn't be there. Not one of them have done that without a coach. Not one of them. Yet so many people start businesses on their own. They try to do business on their own without aligning themselves with the proper people to help them and empower them to reach their peak performance. That's what this is about. It is really about the belief in yourself, and then that coach that you have has the belief in you so much, if you're lacking it, that they will hold that belief for you until you're able to be empowered enough to hold it for yourself.
Well, I always talk about investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that
Yeah.
in a moment. I know you told me a story about a woman that was impacted. You know, all these things we have to continuously work on. And coaching, of course, is part of the equation. But the woman you told me about had been very confident. She had been very successful. She had a number of clients. She was making plenty of money.
20 years she had been doing it.
But something happened.
The pandemic happened. As soon as the pandemic happened, in her mind, she crumbled. She lost belief in herself, lost her legs under her, as she said to me, and she felt isolated, that because of the pandemic, she told herself the story and believed no one had any money to spend on, working with a coach to continue building their businesses. When my belief when the pandemic hit was, every person that has a business right now needs us even more to assist them in the pivots or whatever it is that they may be doing. And that was when my business quadrupled, because my belief was so different than hers. So when she came to me, she has so many gifts, Bonnie. I just saw a photo of her yesterday on Facebook, and she just purchased this land to do retreats for women. I told you that she went on to start a school of her own for gifted women. She's gifted. Gifted meaning she has the power of intuition. She has the power to be. The veil is thinner. I'll use that for her on how she can see the future for a lot of women, extremely intuitive, and that takes a lot of work. But she just has so many wonderful gifts on how she can work with other people to assist them in their businesses. She didn't see it for herself. It was there, but she lost sight of it. And when I gave that back to her, that gift back to her, and the belief that she just needed for someone to believe in her and bet on her for a little while until she could bet on herself, she went from $1,500 a month to $10,000 a month. This was all within short 6 months, to $10,000 a month to $30,000 a month.
Incredible.
And she just bought some land. She started a Sophia Mystery School for other women who think they're different and need to find women that are like they are, because they don't understand these gifts and how they can talk to people and, maybe people that we think we can't see, or, she put them all together, and now she's empowering other women to use those gifts.
That's fantastic. Well, I think the pandemic taught us that our mental health can be very fragile.
Yeah.
Our confidence can fall apart. I mean, you see that happen with people who are on stage. All of a sudden they'll get stage fright, or you'll see that with sports, with athletes. All of a sudden somebody lost their serve in tennis or whatever. But you can get that back with the right people.
That's correct. And how many times have we seen that in the Olympics, where
someone
makes one wrong mistake? And I think of, ice skating, right? Maybe it's my favorite sport. So I think of ice skating, and I see them miss one triple lux or whatever it is. From that point, it's like their whole routine goes down.
Hard to recover.
Why does that happen?
Right.
They know their routine. They know exactly what they need to do. They've done it before, and they believed in themselves enough to get there. The hard work it took to get there is just beyond probably our imagination if we're not an Olympic athlete. But when that happened, his automatic belief in themselves was, I just messed up. What will happen next? And then they create the story in their head. It's in our minds. It physically is not in our bodies. It's in our minds. But our mind control our physical body.
Absolutely. Well, you are the picture of success and power and confidence, but you haven't always felt that way. And you all have to know that Colleen also holds a black belt in Taekwondo. I mean, there's nothing this woman can't do. But tell me about your childhood.
It wasn't always that way, Bonnie. And, I had a really tough time coming from a household of abuse. And I grew up in Chandler. Here in Arizona, I went to Chandler High School. Still stay in contact with so many of those people. But I want your viewers to picture this. Here I am, kindergarten. I'm standing up I step up on a chair in front of the entire elementary school. I'm kindergarten, entire elementary school. And I push play on the cassette, and it's You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone. And I sing to this to the entire...
That's really harsh.
I know. Okay. I'm sure I thought I was the most amazing singer anyone had ever heard in their life. And that's the way that I belted this song out. Why? Because my belief in myself was so sure that I was an amazing singer because I had practiced in my room for hours and hours on end. From that point, I want you to think about, we're born with two things. There's the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. If those are the only two fears we're ever born with, then why do people today have so many fears? It's because we walk around and we allow society and culture and people and places and things and events to put labels on us. We let them stick, and then we get fearful, and then we shrink back, and we become what other people tell us we are based on what someone else tells us or labels us to be.
And we somehow believe that. We carry that.
Well, that's easier. Wow. It's easier, but it's so much more hurtful. And then we shrink back. I mean, there's a reason why 4% of people in the entire world hold most of the wealth. There's a reason why. Their mindset is that is where they belong. That is where they deserve to be. And if you were to take all the wealth in the entire world, distribute it amongst everybody, within a year, it would all be back in the hands of the same 4%.
Boy, isn't that interesting?
Very interesting. What does that tell us, though? What is the lesson that it tells us?
Our minds are so strong.
Yeah, if you believe it's possible. So I believed I was the best singer. It doesn't mean that I was. I believed I was. So when we tell children you can be anything you desire to be, we should mean that because they can. And if we're raising the next generation, then we're going to change the way leaders are running this entire world in the future. You want to change the next generation.
You are so motivational. And I know you made a strong decision when you were a young adult, which put you on a whole different path.
Yeah.
Do you want to share that?
Yeah, I didn't have my parents around guiding me. I didn't have a coach guiding me. I didn't even have a good mentor at this point in my life. And I was 36 years old, and I had started reading self-help books and self-development books, and I had made the decision at 36, I'm done. I broke up with a boyfriend that was physically abusive. I look back now, and there's this word narcissist that's thrown around a lot. Okay,
I'll
title
about
him that. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what that was back then. Right. I didn't know. But coming up from a household where abuse was prominent, the cycle continued for me until the self-development and me starting to understand, wait, hey, I have choices here, broke that cycle. So I was a single mother. I had 2 children. I made plenty of money to support these children on my own. And for the first time in my life, I was like, you know what? Life is going to be about Colleen. It's not going to be about what other people tell me or if I'm a good mother, if I'm not a good mother, if I'm good at my job or not good at my job. I'm going to be who I want to be no matter what that takes. And I'm going to seek out people that I need to have in my life that surround me that are going to fuel that success. And I started getting rid of friends. I started getting rid of people that were naysayers and they wanted to complain and they wanted to moan about other things, because I highly believe this. The 5 people you hang around with the most, and then it just gets bigger from there, your network is your net worth. That it simply is. You need to be surrounding yourself with people that fuel your success, believe in you, and then you reciprocate the same with them.
And I find you have to be really disciplined about that. You have to be really careful about who you let into your heart and your mind, and to be around you in the same space. I feel like that has such an impact, and we become who we're around. We develop some of the same traits, so we better be very picky about that.
Yeah, I've even had to make the hard decision to move my mom to the balcony in my life and, not be in the front row. And it's very hard for me to admit that and to talk about that. And because who doesn't want their mom in their front row?
Sure.
We all want our moms in our front row, but if it's damaging and negative and it's pulling you backwards and it's not lifting you up and moving you forward, then they got to go. It's really tough. But, I like to say we're onions, and as we grow, layers drop off of us, and people around you just hold on to those layers. They don't want you to change. They're like, please don't change. But you're going to stay stuck forever if you're not willing to just break out of that and lean in to who you were created to be. That is why we were here. We chose this. So leaning in to truly be the person that you desire to be is going to empower so many other people that are just praying for you to show up in their life.
Well, I've heard it said that you can love people from a distance.
Oh, yes.
And I like that kind attribute to that.
Yeah.
So you and I met at an event where Chicken Soup for the Soul author, motivational speaker, Mark Victor Hansen and his wife were there. Mm-hmm. And she's Crystal Dwyer Hansen. She's also a motivational speaker and an author. And I know learning is a lifelong passion of yours, and I know that you incorporate that into your coaching. So tell us the kind of programs that people might expect when they work with you.
Yeah. Our businesses can only grow to the extent that we do. And when I talk about personal development, so many business owners will say, I don't need personal development. I need you to help me with my marketing, or I need you to help me with these things. So I always say, listen, I'm going to help you with all of the aspects of your business to get that, scaled or launched or relaunched or, profitable. Let's just start there, right? Get some revenue generating, get that profitable.
Good place to start.
Right, whatever it is that you need. I do that through so many different conduits. But, the main thing is being seen, being heard, and being visible. And I do that through the mediums of networking events. I do Thrive Thursday masterclasses. I put on big 3-day events where I'll teach for 3 days, and you could walk out of the room learning, a ton of how to apply a profitability pyramid to your business, or how to create a business plan, or, how to value a program that you have. So it's every day I'm working with women on intensive trainings and putting them through. So I have coaching programs that involve one-on-one or group. I have a community where you can just utilize the podcast platforms and the masterclass platforms where you're the host and you're the teacher, and we can do live interviews. This social media is so oversaturated. Women are struggling to figure out how to stand out. And the number one answer to that I give them is, it's you. You're what makes yourself stand out. So when you believe in you, you're going to blow the roof off this thing. We need to start there.
And I know you and I talked about the uniqueness, that the world really doesn't want you to be unique. No. When you're in corporate America, they want you to fit a mold. They want you to climb the way they'd like you to develop with training and such. And you learned this early on.
Yes. So I want to share something. I was actually told by a CEO once in my life that you're not a leader. And I remember staring across the desk.
Who would ever say that to anyone?
I believed it. Bonnie.
Oh,
I believed it in that moment. I remember looking across the desk and thinking, why does this feel so wrong that he's saying this to me? Because my intuition
it hurts me. I feel it right now.
My intuition was telling me, alarm, alarm, alarm,
Sure.
this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. The red flags went up, right?
Oh my gosh.
But, that was a label. And for a while, I let it stick on me, and it affected the way I worked with people, and I second-guessed myself, and could I really do this? And then I wasn't really serving anybody around me because I wasn't operating from my peak performance. I wasn't really truly being the person that I desired and knew I could be, which was this leader, right? And if I had all these people that were following me and wanted to know things about me and would ask me questions, that truly just organically, you become a servant leader because you've gained trust of people around you. You have the honesty, right? They respect you. That's how true leaders are born.
I want to talk about the groups of people that you work with. I know you have a Mastermind program, and I believe you've told me that sometimes you need other people to help recognize strengths that you might have.
Yeah.
Tell me about your Mastermind program. Tell me about the fun things that you guys do and how you keep learning through it.
I love that. Thank you. Yes, I put this together a little over a year ago, and I bring high-level women together that are really looking to make an infinite impact. That's the name of the mastermind, on their lives, leave a legacy for themselves, and where they want to go. And I don't want to use the word level up because it just seems to be a word, that we use all the time. But how can you push yourself, to lean in a little bit more, right, to our best performance possible? And I find that when we surround ourselves with a mastermind of women, maybe 8 to 10 women, on a regular basis for a year long, we learn a lot about ourselves because we think we operate in one way, who we are, what we stand for, and then, we operate our businesses based on those beliefs. And they can see a different perspective sometimes. And it's so helpful, when you have a business idea or you're leaping to the next business platform, or you're looking to exit your business and sell your business, or you're launching a second one or a membership program. I could go on, and you bounce those ideas off of a group of women that most of them have done it before you, or they've tried it, right? The fastest path to wealth is speed. And that's what this mastermind does for us, is it really assists us in building what we need to build at a faster pace with the support of women around us that have unlimited resources, either that they've done it themselves or they can connect me to someone who can assist and empower me through that. I mean, last year, I'll give you an example. We had one of the ladies, she was starting a TV show, and she was going to be spending probably $50,000, per few episodes. And so she wanted to learn from us how to get the sponsors. That was her reason for coming into this mastermind, how to get, the interviewees, how she should structure it all. She wanted to build it out that year. So we connected her to several people, one in particular that has a production TV studio and has been doing this for 10 years, has 35 producers. She saved an enormous amount of money. She's been flying to Dallas, doing her TV show, and it has just been like this amazing feat for her to have had the real constructive criticism, assistance, empowerment from people around her that aren't messing around, right?
Right. I think she had goals.
Yes.
She had network.
Yes.
She had resources.
Yeah.
But she didn't have it until she decided
Correct.
She needed it.
Remember we talked about the people that you hang around with?
Yes.
Let's go back to that, because who you surround yourself with is really going to be your net worth. I want everybody to remember that and really think about that.
We'll
that
all
is your
examine
net
our
worth.
friends
So,
tomorrow.
I honestly pray for women to be brought into this mastermind. And as I get individual names that are brought to me, that I think of them, I reach out to them individually by invitation only. I do not market this, out there on my websites where everyone can just come in and, pay for the mastermind and just sign up. This is about a lot of input, a lot of value add, and you are going to be a different person. You are going to have different programs. Your business will look different when you come out of this program because of the effort you're willing to put into it. And we fly around to different places. We just came back from Coronado Island. We flew down to Charleston, South Carolina. We go to Breckenridge, Colorado. We go all around the United States, sometimes out of the country. And we do fun excursions, like, charting a sailboat for the day. And, some of the best conversations happen when we're just relaxed and in the elements, and having those conversations about each other or ourselves or what we're struggling with. And this is about getting raw and real. It's not about coming in and trying to fake be somebody you're not. This is about exposing the vulnerability and the areas of your business that you feel maybe you don't have a good grasp on, and you're looking for other people to assist you in figuring out how to do the next step.
So there's a lot of intention behind this.
A lot of intention.
And there's something about resetting yourself when you go to a different environment.
Oh, yeah, I say you got to pull yourself out of your own habitat, right? Because we get distracted. And that happens a lot now because of Zoom and yes.
Or habits.
You do. Habits. Yeah, we need to break and form new habits, right? So new skills, new habits, new perspectives. And imagine if you had a group of women that were just there as your tribe, that you trusted, that you could lay everything out to. It could be a relationship. Maybe, your marriage is breaking down, but you're afraid to share that with anyone because you might feel like a failure. You're not afraid to share that in this group. And we're there to lift you and again, give you our wings, give you our strength to hold you up till you're ready to hold yourself up. So a lot happens in a year.
Incredible work. Well, I know you also use symbolism when you're working to encourage women. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, several years ago, many years ago now, I had a CEO that I worked with, and, I really wanted to win his. He was going to do a lunch every month for a year, and I bought all these raffle tickets, and it was going to this nonprofit, and I put them all in the.
So he was auctioning off lunch with him for a year.
For a year.
Once a month?
Once a month.
Wonderful. So sort of a mentoring opportunity.
It is.
Okay.
It is. And I guess he would have mentored me if I asked. But in that moment, that was my trigger. Like, I bought 100 raffle tickets and put them all in the basket.
So you stuffed the bucket.
I knew I was going to win.
Yeah.
I knew there was no way they couldn't pull mine out. I had 100 in there. People were dropping 2 and 3 into the other bags. Yeah, they didn't pull my name. Can you believe that?
I can just see your face.
It's like, what? So they didn't pull my name. And I think it was written all over my face and my body and my physical language.
Yes,
I think
sure.
I probably was like
deflated just completely.
And he walked up to me, about an hour later, and he was like, "Wow, I watched your reaction when you didn't win that, and I saw that you put all those raffle tickets in and didn't win." He said, "So I'm going to mentor you."
Wow.
And I said, I cried.
I
cried.
can feel that. Yes.
And he really helped empower me by having some tough love throughout that. But he bet on me.
And holding you accountable.
Oh, big time, right? This was everything that I needed, but didn't know at the moment, right? It's not what I wanted it, but I didn't realize how bad I needed it. And this happens for a lot of us. We think we want to hire a business coach to do, if there's certain things in our business, but the women don't realize what they really need. Throughout that process is that marketing plan that you're talking about isn't as crucial that you think. It's the belief in you is what is so crucial. So that is why I bet on women. I do. I have this little, chip that I carry around with me. And this actually is a real casino chip, and it's $1,000.
Very nice. Yeah.
And I realize I use this for, events that I do where they get $1,000 off a program, right? And that's why I hand them out, because they can trade in their chip. But I want them to walk around when they always get several of them. I want them to hand them to other women when they want to say to them, "Listen, I'll bet on you, and I want you to bet on yourself." So just keep it in your car and your dashboard as a reminder every time you see it. I bet on me. Today I'm going to bet on me. He bet on me. He mentored me for 2 years, Bonnie, and I became the entrepreneur. He was mentoring me to become a strong entrepreneur, and I didn't know it at the time. Right. But he saw through what everything was happening around me in corporate America, and he knew what I needed, but I couldn't see it for myself, remember. I needed that strong coach and mentor at that time to show me what I was capable of. And he believed in me and bet on me until I could believe and bet on myself. And now I'm just paying it forward.
And he saw you bet on him.
Yes.
First.
I did.
And
I did.
And he came around and said, "Hey, I'm going to bet on you."
I did.
I love
and he's
that.
Still in my life. He's still an amazing person, him and his wife. We need to pay it forward, We need to bet on others when they're not able to bet on themselves. And this goes for young girls, this goes for young women, this goes for ladies that are broken, and this goes for ladies that you said appear confident on the outside, but there's just something missing on the inside, right? We give away our power, Bonnie. We give away our power to other people, and we allow them to abuse us. We allow them to take our time. We allow them to, we allow our power to be deflated when we give it away to other people, and we don't really believe in what we possess is just what makes us so great, our uniqueness, right? Our fingerprints are different in this world for a reason. There isn't another person that has our same fingerprint. So why are you trying to fit in when you're meant to stand out?
Well, Colleen, every time I talk to you, I feel lifted up, and I'm sure everyone around you feels the same way. I want to thank you so much. You're the founder and CEO of the LEAP community. You're also the author of several books. And what's the best way to find you?
Best way to find me is just go to my website at colleenbiggs.net.
Okay.
That's colleenbiggs.net. And then
Two G's?
Two G's, yeah. So it's two E or two L's, two E's, two G's. Yeah, you can find me online. And the other great way, if you love meetup groups, we're Leap for Ladies. That's Leap for Ladies on Meetup. So it's a great way to see all of our events, get connected with the group, and get to meet us there as well.
Well, very good. Thank you so much for joining us on Zonie Living. Also, if you want to find more out about Colleen, you can go to April's editions of Flagstaff Business News and Quad Cities Business News. You can find those articles online too, flagstaffbusinessnews.com, quadcitiesbusinessnews.com. My next guest is the owner of a new boutique in Williams, Cowgirls and Fairies. It's a blend of rustic chic and fantasy, located on Route 66 in the city of Williams. Entrepreneur April White is joining us from Williams. Hi, April.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Hey, great to see you. So you are in your store right now.
I am.
And you are attracted to the city of Williams. Tell me a little bit about what brought you there. It's a wonderful little town.
It's so cute. So my bandmate and I were originally thinking when we moved from Los Angeles. Before that, we were in New York, and we were looking for a town where we'd have a better quality of life, cost of living, and maybe a chance to get in front of an audience, because trying to find an audience in LA is pretty impossible. And so we were looking around, and we went to Flagstaff for the weekend. So originally we were thinking Flagstaff, and that's where he ended up. But then I discovered Williams on the way there and thought, at first I thought, is this real, or did they just put this in here? Like, is it part of a set for some movie
a frontier
that got
town
left
set?
over? Yeah, I literally thought this can't really be legitimately.
It's beautiful setting.
And because it's so cute. It literally looks like something you would build for a Disney park or something.
Well, and I think
that's the quintessential Western town. But it is what it is.
That Disney aspect, funny you should mention that, because we are talking about fantasy and whimsy and very female vibe that we have in your store. Tell us a little bit about what's in your store. I can see over your shoulder some of the cool things, but you combine cowgirl Western stuff with chic. What kind of style? How would you describe it?
I would say it's a blend of chic meets cowgirl, kind of rustic chic. It's got this kind of whimsical vibe, and really what it is it's an extension of the Violet and the Sun music that I create, right? Which is also kind of this eclectic mix of different kinds of genres that I call then in the ethereal pop. So what we're looking at is things like, these cute cowboy hats, right? That look really weird with my headphones, but but they're really cute. And then some things like this little unicorn hat. Look underneath.
Oh, very
Isn't
sweet.
that adorable?
Very sweet.
So things like that. And then also, things that are a little more rugged, right? So you've got, so apparently I have an attitude.
Okay, apparently.
And caution, I have no filter. So it's kind of got, it's like elevated, but also down to earth. And so there's the sense of rugged cowgirl meets, ethereal, magical fantasy.
April, I think you picked up on my vibe a while back. Maybe it was a year ago. I was at a concert, and it was kind of when there was a window in the pandemic. And I was listening to Muggion, who plays around Arizona quite a bit, Dwayne Moore and the gang. And I was so excited because it was one of the first times I had been with a group of people through the pandemic. And what I noticed were all these little girls who were combining the tutus that they were wearing with cowgirl boots. And I thought, that is the answer. That is the style solution. And then when you came out with your business, with the name Cowgirls and Fairies, I thought, well, that is the answer. That's it. Perfect. So you must have so much fun
I love that.
talking to,
Yeah.
residents and also to visitors, people who are coming to see Route 66 and the beautiful setting that's all around in Williams. And of course, the gateway to the Grand Canyon. So I am sure you find so many people have so much joy when they enter your shop. I can only
Oh,
imagine.
it's so fun. It really captures their imagination, whether they're tourists or whether they're locals. And the locals have been really excited about it, especially the younger girls. They think, "Oh my gosh, there's nothing like this here," and it feels so cool that we have this cool store here. And so it's really been fun to see the reactions, and even the kinds of people that come in. So I had a guy come in yesterday in total biker gear. And for a second, I thought, is he lost? Right. And I said, "I'm sorry, it's really girly." He said, "My wife has a birthday in a few days. I thought this
Oh,
might be a good place." So he picked up this, chakra stone journal. It has all the stones for the different chakras on the front. And I said, "Those are the stones of the chakra, the chakra stones. I don't know if you care." And he said, "No, we're really into that." I was
oh,
like,
how
I loved it. I was like,
fun.
okay, so you never, people are so diverse that I feel like this kind of eclectic vibe speaks to people that are a lot more dimensional than you would think on the surface, right?
Oh, absolutely. And
Hmm.
in an article that was recently written by Ronnie Tierney, you say you've always been the kind of person who would create what you wished had already been created. So that I'm guessing is true of your shop.
It's true of the shop, it's true of the music, and it's true of my PR agency. So the music actually started. I was a DJ. I was DJ single white female in New York City for a long time,
Oh, fantastic. We love
and
broadcasters.
yeah, and so I decided that I was actually spinning DJ, not actually broadcast DJ, but
Oh, okay.
performing. I had a residency at the Diesel store on Fifth Avenue for a
I
while and
can
things like
totally
that.
see that.
Yeah, I was edgy. I had short butch hair, and and so
Different look.
I've
Perfect.
calmed down, like different universe back then, different person, but it shaped where I am now. And then I thought, I really wish there was music like this, right? So I created Violet in the Sun because there was this. I wished that somebody would create the music I had in my head. So I decided, oh, I guess I have to.
Okay, well,
Uh,
April, I'm going to stop you right there. I can see
yeah,
over your shoulder, we can see Violet and the sun,
yes.
and we've got your music. So I'm going to ask Robin to go ahead and turn that up so we can hear that.
Aw.
Now listen to her voice.
Deep in my bones, there's a fear.
So pretty.
Part of me wants to make it real.
I'm playing that for the rest of the day. That is so pretty. But you know what? Your voice there, the first thing I thought of was a Disney princess could be singing that song. And then when you showed me the picture of you out in the field doing spins and the beautiful flowy gown, and I was just thinking, oh my gosh, that so works together with your whole theme and your whole essence.
So sweet. I do. It's funny too, because I have a whole stable of animals at home. I have 3 dogs, 3 cats, 2 goats. They all get along famously, and it's one big, sort of Snow White vibe out there where we're all just.
I can see the butterflies as you're walking through the field.
It
You
really
also
is.
you
It's true.
you play your music in your shop too, so people
I do.
and then people can buy a CD, right?
I have both a CD,
Uh-huh.
and because many people now don't have CD players,
Oh
I
yes,
have
I'm
I have these
speaking from
cute
the
little thumb
past.
drives.
Oh, very fun.
Aren't those fun? So you just pull off the end, and voila, you have a USB.
And can we see you in person? Can we see you live in concert?
Not at the moment, but hopefully soon.
Well,
Yes,
well, you
I'm.
just
I'm
opened a store, so your
yeah.
store is brand new. So
One thing at a time.
we'll
But
give you a
can see,
buy.
you can see me here.
Well, very, very nice.
Yeah, and sometimes doing karaoke at the Canyon Club.
So the music we're listening to is called "Tear a Hole in This Plastic Night." I'm sure there's a story that's behind that.
There is, yeah. It was inspired by this idea that a lot of reality seems to be pliable and not really real in some way. And sometimes we get in these dark places, and that if I just looked past the veil of this unreality, I would see this differently, right? That there's another way of viewing, another perspective here, another way of viewing this world. And so it's really inspired by that concept of, I know I can tear a hole in this plastic night. I know this isn't real.
Boy, deep lyrics, beautiful voice.
Thank you so much.
Disney-esque feeling. I just love it all. So through your business and your music, and we talked just briefly, you have a PR company, you have clients around the world.
Clients around the world, yes, and staff members now around the world too. We actually have 3 Ukrainian employees who are currently safe, thankfully, and
wow. Yes.
and some team members in Australia as well. But yeah, it's we're 3 years old this month as an agency. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
You are just a powerhouse of talent and business and the whole ball of professionalism and talent. It's amazing.
Thank you.
April White, owner of Cowgirls and Fairies. Tell me what your hours are. When can people find you in your store? When are your doors open?
So I'm here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because during the week I'm running the PR agency. But I am open from 11 to 7 on Friday and Sunday and 12 to 8 on Saturdays.
Fantastic. And I should note that Ronnie Tierney, who wrote the story about you in Flagstaff Business News, also in Quad Cities Business News, took the pictures, a lot of the pictures that we're seeing, that we're showing as we're talking. And she's just a fantastic photographer as well.
She's phenomenal, yeah.
Isn't she the greatest?
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to visit your shop. Are there other things you want to show us before we say goodbye?
I mean, sure. So there are a couple things that are, that are there. I got some crystals that are very beautiful in terms of on the ethereal, metaphysical.
Yes.
And then
gorgeous.
These beautiful flower smudge sticks.
Now, what do you do with a smudge stick?
So
Explain.
You clear a space. So you would, if you wanted to, you don't have to, obviously, because it's pretty, but you could burn it like you would if you were doing, with sweetgrass or something like that, where you're trying to clear a space energetically.
Is this sage? Is it
sage also? Yep.
Okay.
This doesn't have sage. This is a special one it's got an amethyst in it as well.
Oh my gosh.
And then I've got
Sounds
little
beautiful.
quirky things like bath bombs that look like cupcakes.
Beautiful. Every cowgirl should have one of those.
Some beautiful jewelry that Jen Roberts from Muley Forge has made, like these cute little copper cactus earrings.
Yes.
Aren't those darling?
Really pretty.
And she's also made some of these box necklaces. This one's got blazing saddles in it. I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit dark. There we go.
I love
saddles.
the copper. Gorgeous.
Yep. And some other things like some really cute candles. People are really into the candles. So lots of these and some beautiful journals that are rustic looking, right? Kind of go into that.
I could see that in a saddle. Perfect. Right. Yep.
Just to give you a little bit of the sense of the clothes, because I know we didn't do a full tour here. So this is also maybe our local who puts these on the back.
Oh, wow.
So these are cute little flannel shirts that kind of go the cowgirl direction.
Sure.
And then we have some things that go more the fairy direction. So we've got some beautiful dresses like this.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Very pretty. I love the colors.
And it's going to be a little bit hot for these soon, but it's still appropriate. These beautiful jackets.
Now, where do you find your merchandise? I know you must have amazing places where you pick things up, and what inspired you to do this? So 2 questions. So where do you find where do you find your products?
So all over the place. For example, so I went to Sundance, Robert Redford Sundance in Utah last summer, and discovered this amazing soda that's craft soda. This is lemon lime lavender, and I fell in love with it.
Wow.
So when I opened the store, I contacted them. They had it shipped to Phoenix, and I picked it up from Phoenix. Like, it was this whole ordeal, but I had to have the soda. So sometimes there's just something I've discovered that I fall in love with, and it's like, I'm going to chase it down. I also have a relationship with Fairy, which provides small business owners with other small business owners who are selling things wholesale direct. So I have some of the candles through them, like this, black, amber, and lavender candles from there.
Sounds delicious.
And the crystals came from there was a crystal event down in Clarkdale.
Okay.
So I went down to Clarkdale and went to this sort of wholesale crystal event that was happening. So some of that, and then like I said, Jen Roberts, who's local, has been bringing me some of her jewelry, and then I'm selling it, on her behalf. So some of that too. And there are a couple other artists that they aren't in here yet, but they're coming this coming week. They found out about the store and they want to sell their jewelry here as well. So
bet. What a wonderful venue for local artists. What a wonderful way to show appreciation for them and to expose them even more.
guess the last thing I'll leave you on is the cowgirl vibe, which is these beautiful boots. Look at these.
Oh man, those are
Aren't those
so
phenomenal?
fun.
I'm
Yes.
glad they're not my size, or I would probably not
I
put
was
them out.
just going to ask you, tell me what size those are. Just asking
They're
for a
size
friend.
7.
They're, we could maybe make that work. I'll have to come check them out.
Yeah,
Very
they're really
cute.
cute. They're really cute. Somebody needs to have them because I can't wear those. They're
April,
on size.
who inspired you for this store and your music, and how did that happen?
So it's a little bit of a combination of just I had gone to this Pussifer store in Jerome, which is very, very kind of polar opposite in terms of vibe.
Okay.
But Maynard from the band Tool
Of course.
has the store, right? And
Yes.
he's named Pussifer. So it's like a record store, barber shop, eclectic gift shop, and it's like everything in there embodies him and his vibe. And I thought, that is brilliant, right? That's a good way of giving a physical space to something that's otherwise not physical without a concert. And so that was part of it. Was I thought that's a really interesting way of connecting with people, because I feel like, in lieu of having concerts, which have gone by the wayside recently with the pandemic and are starting to come back, but it's still a little bit spotty.
Sure.
I feel like this is a great opportunity for people to kind of experience the holistic energy, right, of the music. And so what I'm hoping to do here is give them a way to connect with me and the music and the physical, and just make that deeper connection with people.
Well, I know you've lived in New York City. I know you've lived in LA, and we are so happy that you found us here in Arizona. And I'm going to send everyone I know to Williams, and that is
Thank you.
Cowgirls and Fairies with owner April White. April, you're the owner. You're also a very talented musician. Love your music.
Thank you.
And of
Thank
course,
you so much.
a fantastic entrepreneur. And I cannot wait to visit your shop. And so I'll need to check out those boots as well.
Let me know if you want me to set them aside. I'll hide them in the back.
Thanks so much, April. So fun
All
having
right.
you.
Thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to have you on Zonie Living. Well, April White, you can find more about her in Ronnie Tierney's story about her business, her Cowgirls and Fairies shop in Williams. You can go to flagstaffbusiness.com, flagstaffbusinessnews.com, and also quadcitiesbusinessnews.com. I sat down recently with Mariette Hartley and her husband, actor Jerry Sroka, at the Sedona International Film Festival. Fans know Mariette from her role as Dr. Carolyn Fields in the TV series The Incredible Hulk. Other programs she's been in include Peyton Place, Gunsmoke, Star Trek, The Twilight Zone, and of course the popular Polaroid commercials that she made with James Garner in the 1980s. Mariette and Jerry were debuting their new film, Our Almost Completely True Story, at the Sedona Performing Arts Center. It's a very real story set in Los Angeles. It's fun and funny. It's about real life, working in Hollywood, with so much authentic love and kindness. In this photo, this is a scene from the movie where Mariette and Jerry are in Tombstone, and she's signing autographs. And there are a great many charming cameos with people, some of their many acting friends like Morgan Fairchild. She was Chandler's mom in Friends. Mindy Sterling, who played Dr. Evil's assistant in the Austin Powers films, and Bernie Capel, who was the Love Boat's Dr. Adam Bricker, just to name a few. Well, Mariette talked about how their friends jumped in to help create the movie, and she said, "We don't know how much power we have to make things happen." She was talking about something she calls soul power. So here's a clip to demonstrate how people have joined in through their journey.
We start to talk, and he tells us the whole story. His family owns the motel.
All of the motels, Western.
He lived in London, was born in London, lived here, lived there, and then he asked us what we did, and our PR person over here to my right starts telling him, and he's fascinated by it. He said, "Well, when could I see it?" And I said, "No, it's over in Sedona." They're coming tonight.
They're coming tonight.
Manish
So you've
and
got
his
this trail of people.
yes,
following you. That's
yes,
amazing.
isn't it wonderful? That's what she's talking about. Things that are happening that
And people want love and joy and laughter in their lives.
and free tickets.
People indeed want love, joy, laughter, and free tickets. Well, Mariette Hartley was honored with the 2022 Sedona International Film Festival Lifetime Achievement Award given to her for her passion and dedication to cinema and an appreciation of her tireless advocacy on mental health issues. Jerry Sroka, who does spot-on impersonations throughout the film, people like Jack Benny, Woody Allen, and Jerry Lewis, he talked about always remembering what's important in life, like family and dear friends. He says, sweet, good people attract sweet, good people. I'll leave you with that thought. This is Zonie Living, Business, Adventure, and Leadership. I'm Bonnie Stevens.